In this video, we're going to look at the Contact Us page and how to set up the Contact Us page. We're going to add an address and a map. We're going to add a contact form and show you how to change the contact form. So the first thing let's do is we'll pull up our example website and just look at the built-in contact page. So we've got a Contact Us page here with a map, place for an address and phone number. You could put a fax number in here too, it would show up. And then just some general information. Here you can put in some text there. And then we've got a Contact Us form below with lots of different fields here. And so we're going to show you how to make changes to the page here. This is your standard Contact Us page. If you go to the Pages tab and then go over to the Contact sub-tab, you'll see what we've got here is the location information and then the information about the contact form. And we put the frequently asked questions here too, but we're not going to look at that right now. So we would click the Edit link here, and then it opens up the Edit window for the contact page. The top part here is for your address. So you put in the address, and here's where you could put the fax number in there too if you wanted. And then, but if we scroll down and open up the contact info section, here's where we could put in get in touch, or this is the menu, the button text. So we could just say contact or contact us. And then if you don't put anything, the default is contact us. And then if the way that the Contact Us form is edited is pretty neat, and it's very flexible. It's a CSV file, and we make a spreadsheet file available. You just download it here, and then you would click to upload it and just put that back into your system here and save it, and you're done. And so I want to show you what that spreadsheet looks like and how to change it in just a minute. The other things that you can change here is the name. So this is the recipient's name whenever the people fill out the Contact Us form. So this would basically be your name and your email address. This is where you want the emails to be sent. And then we've got two text boxes, one for some intro text and one for a thank you message. And so you can put in a special thank you message here. After people submit the form, this will show up, and this text goes above the form. So that's this text right here. So let's look at the form again. We've got a place for your name, email address, and we've got the phone number, the message, and this can be opened up bigger. And then we've got just some examples. Notice there's some helpful text underneath some of these. We've got a how did you hear about us? This is just a radio buttons. And then we've got a checkbox and a drop-down list. And so these are just basically all the different kinds of fields that you might have. So this form is just an example. So if we were going to change the form or add one, if we don't have a form in here in the first place, you can download this, and if you ever mess up your form, you can always download, just come in here, remove the one that you've got, and we'll go ahead and remove that so you can see what it looks like. And then we'll open up the file in the spreadsheet software. So this is some spreadsheet software that we're using, and what we have is different columns, and there's most of these have some kind of descriptive instructions for each column here that you can look at. But the first column is the field type. We'll look at each one of these in more detail. So we got the field type, we got the field label, the field name, options, whether it's required or not, and then we've got the default value, and then we've got some help text. And so let's go back and we'll compare this to our contact form. So the field label is actually the text that's next to the field. So we see we've got your name, email address, phone number. So here it is, your name, email address, phone number, and then we've got message comments, how did you hear about us, that sort of thing. So we've got message comments, how did you hear about us. So basically each row is one of the fields on the form. And then over here we define the type of field it is, and this is a drop-down menu, so you can choose whether it's a text area, which is like for the comments, or a radio button, or a checkbox, or a select list, or even if it's hidden. And a hidden information would be maybe there's something that you want to get submitted with the form, but you don't want people to actually see it. And so the select box is your normal drop-down menu, and this is a checkbox, and these types of buttons are called radio buttons. So you can see we've got choices for everything that you'd need. Text area, text, radio, checkbox, select, and hidden. Those are all the standard HTML form options that you'd have. So like if we wanted to add a new item on the form to collect some new piece of information, we would first decide, well, is that going to either be, a checkbox or a text box or a radio button? Just decide what that would be, and we would just add it right here underneath the ones that are here. Or if we wanted to take one of these off, we would just select the whole line and delete it. And then you put the field label in here. This is what people actually see. And if you move your mouse over the top corner in your software, it'll usually show you like a little bit of information about what that column is for. Now the next column is the field name. And so a lot of times the label that's visible, you're going to have spaces, and you might have like a question mark and slashes, and that can kind of create problems in HTML. So like if we just use the label of name, just one word by itself, then this would work fine for the actual field name. But a lot of times there's going to be a lot more text going on here. So we need just some short single word word here, just a single word to use as the name, and this is part of the HTML, so it just names that field for the HTML. So usually what I do is I just do the same thing that's here, but I just take out all the spaces, and I usually make it lowercase just so it's all consistent. Then the field options, what you need to do on the field options is put your text in here and separate them with this pipe character. It's a vertical line character, and you can find it by holding down Shift and clicking the slash tool. So it's just an up and down line, and so you'd put one right after the other, all in the same cell there. And so you can see if we're looking at the how did you hear about us, if we go and look at the form, we've got all these different options here, and these are all separated with that pipe character when we're looking at the spreadsheet here. And then the next thing, we're going to mark whether it's required or not, and that's just either it's nothing or yes. You choose yes or nothing. And so on the actual form, if something is required, then it's got this little orange R thing next to it, and it says this required fields are marked with this symbol. And so then let's see what's left. The default information, the field default. So if you want to make one of your options default so that they always, when they first see the form, it's always chosen, like here it's always chosen email, then you would just specify that in this default. And if you don't put anything here, then there won't be anything chosen. But if you do, then it will be here. And on the hidden fields, since there's no way to edit those when people are filling them out, then if there was something that you wanted to include in here, like a hidden message to whoever's receiving the form or something like that, then you would put that in here. And then this last column is help text. So it's just this is the small little bit of text that shows up down below, like here and here. It just helps the user with a little bit more information in case they're not sure what to put in there. And that is all. That's all That's all it takes to edit the contact form. It's really easy to do. Most people nowadays are comfortable working with spreadsheets, and you can see it's really just typing in text and choosing things from the drop downs. But by doing it this way, we've got pretty much an unlimited number of fields you can add here. Obviously, if you added hundreds of fields, it's going to take longer for your page to load. But this is really easy way to manage your contact form. And so you could completely start over with a brand new one. You could delete all these and just start over from scratch. One thing I would suggest that you always include is a name and an email address whenever you're building contact forms, because otherwise people are going to be filling out your form and you're not going to have any way to know who they are or how to contact them. So it's usually a good idea to ask for their name, email address, and phone number, and you can make these required or not required. If you make them not required, probably people aren't going to put them in there. But if you do make them required, then they will. And so if there's a required field and somebody filled it out or they left it blank, if they hit submit and it's required, then it's going to pop up a message telling them that they need to go back and make sure that they fill out the form correctly. So like here's an example. So it says there's a problem with your submission. Please use your back button and try again. And here's what we're missing. The email address, there wasn't any, so it's saying it's an invalid format, and we're missing the name. If somebody filled in the form with just like blah 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 inside that email box, it's actually checking to look to see if it's actually an email address. So that's why it's saying invalid format. And so that's basically it. That's how to change the contact form. That's how to add a contact form from scratch. And that's how we also add your address and map. And if you work with the contact form and you feel like you messed something up, all you got to do is remove the one that's there and download that fresh copy. That link's going to always be there, and you just download a fresh copy of it and start over. And so there's really nothing to break here, and I think that you'll find the Contact Us page very easy to use and very easy to update. And I hope that you go about collecting lots of information, because that's one of the great things about having a website, is being able to collect information and make certain things required. And so that's it for the contact page setup.